This is Rather Reports. I'm here with Delicious Orie. Delicious, firstly, congratulations on being ambassador for Boxwise. Can you talk more about that in depth and in detail for people who might be aware of it but not know too much about it?
So Boxwise, they're a charity organisation that basically work with, say, troubled kids from certain deprived locations all around the UK. We're actually international, but as an ambassador, for me, is a real focus in the UK because I'm familiar with the scene. I've been into boxing gyms that I know truly need it. Especially with some children and young adults. I got into boxing as an 18-year-old from a different angle. I come from I'm with a mum and dad. A good upbringing, but working with obviously training and then coming back into boxing and coaching these kids is making me realise that a lot of kids don't have that support at home. Some of them don't have the right family members or the wrong influences in their life.
I was going to say actually, and you just said there that you sort of was brought up with a solid family.
Yes.
Seeing these kids that maybe don't have a solid family there, how does that make you feel?
Do you know what? And of course, I can easily say it makes me feel unhappy and sad, but genuinely, I felt it when. So I do a bit of work with boxing gyms in and around sort of the West Midlands area when I have time, like on a weekend, some weekdays, and over the years, I got to grow with these kids, and these kids are apparently naughty in school. They get in trouble in school. They get in trouble out in wherever it is they do in their leisure time. They get into a boxing ring. They're like the most disciplined and enthusiastic kids. They listen, they want to learn, they want to improve. And I just think to myself, this is what's needed, because that could be a difference between them getting a prison sentence or not. Or generally, it gets to that where getting them away and giving them a focus could be a difference between them being in trouble or not. Another thing, it's not just that. It's a coach has someone to speak. They have a coach or somebody they can speak to. Not some kids don't have anyone to talk to at home. They go to a boxing gym and they've got a coach that listens to them. So I'm happy to be a part of that and to be ambassador of that.
And we always see stories, or even of fighters now who have come from a tough time in their life, younger, and then they've gone into boxing and that's changed their life. And I presume you probably see that with kids every day in this situation.
Yes.
And sort of now that you're part of that, what do you want to do for these children? What difference do you want to make?
So for me, the key is, like I was saying before, get them off the streets, get them a purpose. Because some kids don't, some kids have no role model or nobody to look up to and think, I want to be like that person. I'm not saying I want these kids to be like me or box. It's not even about the boxing, because I've done assemblies in school, doing like talks in schools, and I say, I'm a boxer and I do this. Boxing is just a platform for me to get kids to listen to me.
Yeah.
If I wasn't a boxer, they probably wouldn't even care who I am. So being able to just be a boxer and just speak to them and say, look, because one of the things I tell them is, do you know when I started boxing? It goes, when? 12 or 10? No, 18. Like, you're like 13, 12. Do you realize how much time you have and the opportunity you have in your hands? And you see some of them really like, oh, wow, okay. And that for me is everything. It's that wholesome little bit that I like to get out of the kids. And that's what really drives me. So
that's the really important thing, isn't it, actually, that they maybe don't realise it, but actually they do have so much time.
Yeah.
And they're not even adults yet.
No. Most kids just need that one person just to push them. Like, most kids, they've got greatness within them, but they just don't have that role model to let them, that little bit of belief. And then the sparks begun, and that's it. There's a flame. So
is there ever a moment for you, if you can just give me a moment where you've been helping the kids out and one of them, you can see in their face that they believe?
Oh, yeah.
There's many.
Yeah, there's many.
Any specific times?
There's one time that really stands out to me with a child. I remember, so he's like 15 years old, and this is in West Midlands, Hereford Boxing Club, they're called. Southwye Police Boxing Academy. So I'm watching the sparring in the on the side of the ring, and there's a kid stood next to me. And he's a bit jittery, and I'm going, you're right, mate. He goes, yeah. And he goes, I'm just really happy to be here. And I'm like, well, why is that? It's because it's because I get, with my ADHD, I get in trouble in school, things that I can't control. But when I'm here, I just feel like I belong and I fit in, and I can get in the boxing ring and I can spar, and I just really get my energy out. That really meant a lot to me, because like I can't, growing up I didn't relate to that.
Yeah.
But because I was in a boxing gym and grew up with these kids, it really got to my heart,
Yeah.
So it was quite touching. But there's many. Oh, there's many. Like this, primary school in particular. You get a kid that put their hand up and like, when did you start boxing? I said 18, and they get really, really surprised. And I thought, you can do exactly the same thing. In fact, you can be 100 times better. And the best part about it is you don't have to be a boxer. You can be absolutely anything. So yeah, happened on a few occasions.
And that's amazing. My final question, because I know you're quite busy. Debut. How are you feeling about the debut? Sort of, what are your plans ahead of that?
I'm very excited. I've been thinking about it for such a long time. Even before, as an amateur, I've always been thinking the day will come one day that I'll become a professional boxer. I can't wait to display what I've been doing in the past 3 months with Steel City Boxing Gym in Sheffield. I'm not going to lie, I'm a little bit nervous, but everybody's nervous, So I can't wait to go. I really can't wait to go.
And what are your plans, sort of, when you make your debut, in terms of the training and things?
In terms of training towards the debut?
Yeah.
What, you mean from now to the debut? We're going to do a bit of media stuff. I'm going to enjoy what I'm experiencing. For example, the press conference, the weigh-in. We're going to do a little bit of training, maybe a little bit of light shadow boxing, maybe tap of the pads to know what I need to do on fight night.
But overall, very new, very exciting.
Yeah, very chilled. As well. So yeah.
Thank you so much for your time.
No problem. Cheers.